Hello, I'm Alexa. I'm a product designer in the San Francisco Bay Area, and today we're going to be talking about one of my very favorite topics, internships. Before we get started, I want to remind you that if you haven't already, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've been living in the San Francisco Bay Area since 2012, and so if you're looking to get a job as a UX designer or are currently working as a UX designer, well, you should stick around because I make videos about what it's like living here and working in the tech industry. Back in 2013, I got my very first UX design internship after attending my college's annual career fair. It was an incredible experience, and it's what helped jumpstart me into my professional career as a product designer right here in San Francisco. Some personal details about me. I was encouraged to go to this career fair by my dad, who also happens to be a product designer. What's up, Dad? But basically, I went to this career fair alone. Most of my friends and my classmates didn't go because it wasn't a requirement for us to attend the career fair nor get an internship yet at the time. But my dad was like, yo, you should go to this career fair, to get a design job over the summer so you can continue to practice your skills and make some money. And I was like, oh, you're right. Sounds fun. So let me be your dad for this moment and tell you, no matter your age, your class level, your skill level, if your school has organized a career fair where they're bringing in companies to talk to students and get to know you, you need to take advantage of this opportunity and just go and check it out. Don't let fear hold you back from starting to create some of these really important professional connections. Let's transition. Whether you're preparing to go to your school's career fair or reach out to companies online, I've got 4 tips for you to help you land your first product design internship. Number 1, scope out the companies that you're interested in working for before connecting with them in person. If you're attending a career fair, this one is pretty straightforward. Typically, organizers of the event will put together a full list of all of the companies who will be in attendance. What you need to do is, before the event, you have to go through the whole list and research into the companies to determine which ones you're actually interested in talking to. Highlight those companies and then cross out all of the rest. So when the day actually comes, you don't waste your time talking to any companies that you're not interested in working for. I would even take this a step further and pick out your top 5 companies and star them. And so when you go to the career fair on the day of the event, you can go to those companies first to make sure you don't miss out on talking to them. If you're scoping out companies online, the research process is fairly similar. The main difference is that you're not given a list to go through, right? You have to kind of make your own list. In fact, my good friend Hwanghah, who did a UX design internship at Airbnb last summer, spoke about just this in an interview I did with her last summer.
When I was applying for experience design internships, I knew that there were certain companies that I really wanted to work at. So I made a list in an Excel sheet where I would have the list of companies I want to work at and kind of go into these companies and learn about them before even looking at their application page or anything. Because I feel like companies know that if you really want to work at that company and they feel your passion, that already puts you in a different path with other candidates.
You should totally check out this interview. It's awesome. She's great. I will link it below. Number 2, prepare your portfolio ahead of time and by any means necessary. When I went to my first career fair, I didn't have any of my work up online. I just didn't know how to do it yet at the time. And so instead, I created these project PDFs that were in the form of a presentation that I used to walk through designers at the career fair in person. Because you have this great opportunity to meet with people in person, potential employers in person. And so you've got to make an impression on them. And how you do that is by showing them your work. And anyway, once you do start to land job interviews, you're going to need to have your projects in the form of a presentation anyway, in order to present your work in the actual interview. And so creating this documentation for your work offline is not wasted time. If you don't have access to a career fair, well, having your work up online is definitely the standard to getting recognized. So if you aren't quite there yet, I would still suggest to create that form of documentation so that you're ready to present your work at whim. And besides, you can still reach out to designers that you look up to and ask them to meet up. And if you have your work in a presentable format, maybe you could ask them for feedback on your project, and that's going to be useful to you. And my third tip is to start establishing a personal brand for yourself. When I was getting ready for my first career fair, I remember getting really excited about trying to subtly match my outfit to my resume and my business cards. I wore all black with a hint of red, and so did my handouts. And so at the career fair, I remember a couple of people who noticed it and pointed it out and thought it was thoughtful. But really, it was memorable. There are many different touch points to design for in your personal brand that span across both the physical and digital space. So start to design your personal brand and be intentional about it. As designers, we notice the details, especially when it comes to consistency. And lastly, my fourth tip is once you've started to establish a personal connection with someone who works at a company that you want to work for, follow up with them. With career fairs, this means following up and sending a message to the people that you connected with who work at these companies you're interested in working for the very next day. You want to remind them how interested and excited you are about the potential opportunity to work together with them. It's best to be as authentic and personable with these messages as possible. For example, I remember during my first career fair, after I met with the companies that I was interested in working for, I would take down notes about the conversations that I had with all of these employers. So I'd write down like inside jokes or little anecdotes or stories or things that we talked about. So when I was sending them that follow-up email the next day, I could include one of those stories and hopefully help spark their memory of our conversation because I wanted them to remember me. People are very attuned, especially today, when they see emails that are like templated or scripted. It doesn't feel very authentic. So do the hard work and send every follow-up email individually. Quality is so important here. Again, the same sort of suggestion still stands when connecting with people online. It's totally normal now to reach out to designers and ask them out to coffee or tea just to like get to know them and learn about their work. And so after you do that, you should definitely follow up with them the next day and thank them for their time. I promise it makes a big difference. And to wrap this video up, I'd love to show you a few clips of the most recent career fair that I went to, which was at my alma mater, California College of the Arts, where I was there representing Zendesk as an employer. And we were there recruiting product design interns for this upcoming summer. So if you've never been to a career fair before, hopefully this will give you a sense of what it looks like and what to expect. Alexa here. I am super excited today because today I am here at CCA, California College of the Arts. It's the college that I graduated from, and there are a lot of people here and this is very distracting. There are tons of employers here who are looking for students, mostly looking for design students to fill jobs. I'm personally really excited to be here because I graduated from CCA 4 years ago, and the CCA Career Fair was the very first place that I came to find my first design internship, and that's like what totally launched my career in design. And so I'm super thankful for this event and for the school for putting on events like this. It's a really great opportunity for people who have never had a design job before to put themselves out there, talk to people in person, potential employers in person, and try to get a job. I'm a huge advocate for, at any point in your career as a student, coming to these events, whether you're a freshman, a sophomore, certainly when you're junior or senior, come to this event and talk to people and try to find jobs.
I'm a design manager at Zendesk, and we're here at CCA, the Career expo, and we're recruiting for a couple summer internships we have. I'd say the candidates that have stood out most are the ones who are like pretty confident in themselves. Ones who come up like alone, I think, are especially good, because it's like if people come up in pairs, I understand why you'd want to do that, but it's hard to like remember who's who and like remember whose resume is whose. So I'd say like just like the confident, casual, like this isn't an interview, you know, so like just making that human connection and showing if you're interested in the role itself. That's what stands out, I think, so far.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm here to represent Zendesk, and we are looking for two summer interns this year. I graduated last summer, and so I was at this event last year as a person looking for jobs, and now I'm like on the other side, so that's kind of a interesting experience. I remember being really nervous talking to people. Like I would always be kind of like floating and like try to make eye contact and then kind of talk to them, and I'm like, I see myself doing the same, but I think it's like good that we know I know how they feel. And I actually talked to one person, and I was the first person they talked to, so they were so relieved that like they were like, oh, can I have a hug? I was like, yes. I think some people come here feeling like they're being interviewed, but I'm approaching it more as like a conversation and getting to know each other as people, not just like employer-employee.
That's it, that's all for now. Before we totally wrap things up, I wanted to mention these 4 tips that I spoke about in this video were originally a part of an interview that I did for an online magazine called Designer Magazine. There's only the winter issue out right now, which you can go and buy. I will link in the description. It's great. I did an interview for them. There's an interview in there from by the future, and I know there's a little section in there about Charlie Marie. A bunch of awesome content creators and designers are represented in this magazine, and it's some really great content. So I would highly recommend go checking it out. If you don't want to buy them, whether or not you buy a subscription to the magazine, the Designer Magazine Instagram account is awesome and a great place to go for daily design inspiration. Again, I'll link everything in the description. Anyway, if you like me and you like my videos, you should totally be a subscriber. Just seems to make sense to me. And to all my subscribers out there already, I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening to me and letting me share my stories with you. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.